Them saying farmer fi dead, but how justice fi live if truth can't talk. Jamaica, it's time for broke this silence. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. See I'm blind, hear and deaf. People live in fear, them can't find rest. Police and the dance.
Hello everyone, I hope all is well. I want to say thanks for joining the channel. I want to say I am happy that everyone is really watching the content, and it means a lot to me. Remember to like, subscribe. It takes a lot to create content. Sometimes I'll do some of these videos. I want to do ones that I'm talking to you live and right here now as it relates to a recorded video. And of course you will see me. Other times you will not. You'll hear my voice. But I want to talk about the syndrome called informer for dead. Yes, that is what I'm going to talk to you about. Because in Jamaica, this very moment, you might be hearing people saying, informer must dead, or they must die. I want to say that this syndrome is not just something that has occurred recently. As a matter of fact, I would say to you that somewhere along the line, back in our historical connections, we had individuals who carried news to the Bakra or to the slave owner. And that sort of system did not go well. We saw where Taki's information, the plan resistance, was leaked by, of course, someone who knew the plantation owner, who was very much there, and so many other things. So the informer to dead sort of situation has extended long time before now and has continued. Now, just imagine Marsha or Mary, someone who lives in Kingston, witnesses a crime, and that crime is very wicked indeed. And the crime that took place allowed Marsha to shiver when she saw. And she witnessed it. And of course, when she looked up, there was the person who committed the crime. She's caught on CCTV when the police looks around and they go searching for Marsha because she's a witness. Now, the person who created that problem, or the murderer, looking in, knows that Marsha has seen the situation. Now, as a matter of fact, because of that, Marsha is already fearful because she knows in her heart and her mind that the syndrome regarding informer for dead is a reality. So what she does, she walks away. She tries to run. She goes in. She's fearful. And of course, because she is young and of course, she wants to ensure that she's all right, she decides to be a witness. Now, there are two ways. There are two roads that operates in Jamaica. Sometimes you can be a witness, but sometimes you have to have that support. And I'm going to touch on witness protection at some point. But for Marsha, giving a testimony in court could mean many things. It could mean, one, she's now labeled as an informer. Two, not just her, but as a witness. If they can't catch Harry, they're going to catch him short. It means one individual like Marsha, because they can't catch her, her family members could be affected. Yes. And if all the family members live in one yard, as they can see, you can see sometimes in the garrison and other communities, you're going to have problems. 1 yard. Someone could decide to firebomb the house and no one has any place to live. And you know what? Sometimes witnesses cannot be found. We have situations where we know the witness would turn up, but they can't, only to hear that they have disappeared. They don't know if they're gone away on the plane or something. But that is the reality of it. So Marsha might decide not to be a witness, or if she does, to say she doesn't remember or didn't see, because she knows in the community that someone is going to come after her or family. But why do we have such a justice system? Let me tell you this. I have been into many situations before. And for this video, I want to tell people that I have worked in Jamaica system as, of course, a victim support officer for several years. I was in Jamaica and I had that position as a victim support officer, I supported victims of crime. It varied from murder and everything. If they were a victim, of course, I would support them. And during my time, I realized that there were so many things that created problems. I remember one time I went to the courthouse. I was called in. I was fresh, very fresh. I'd just taken a job, started to read the manuals, understood what things were. And by the way, I had some experience in doing that because I'd just completed my course in social work. So I was ready as a social worker, ready to go in and give support. I entered the space of the courtroom, and of course, I told the police officer that I visited the victim. The victim said that she is not coming back to court anymore, and that was her father's statement, because someone had created problems, you know. So I was called in by the police. Cut a long story short, I was taken up, I was sworn in, and I said, why am I here? Only to realize that I am now here to say that I spoke to the witness, and the witness said they're not coming. And I'll tell you what the problem was. If you need to read more about this or listen more or watch more, the person said they were not coming to court because they had obia his child, meaning the child could not deal with the trauma, broke down in court, and as a result, he thought it was obia. The person got away. Yes, the person got away because of that, because there was no witness, no support at the time for that individual to understand that these are traumatic events they're going through. Fast forward a couple months after, and I'm going to go back to my talk. I'm in a supermarket when this person comes to me and said, do you know me? And I hesitated. I said, no, you tell me. Who are you? He said, I am the person who spoke on his behalf for him to get away. And I'm saying to myself, you couldn't just say that. And at that point, I didn't tell him any otherwise, because I wanted the case to go through court so the jury could make the decision. And I asked him, did you do it? Because I had to be brave, right? He said, no. And I said, you know what? You got a second chance. Use it well. What I'm saying is intimidation runs deep, whether it be psychological stuff that they're carrying or more. So I want to go back to the point with Mary. Mary or Marsha, since I'm referring to Marsha, would not go into that situation because of what happens. Jamaica has a very low conviction rate, and that is reflected in overall statistics by United Nations. Just read up on it. I'll show some data later. In addition to that, if we have a low conviction rate, it means that people are not getting justice. What happens when people do not get justice is that they take justice in their own hands. It means they're going to get the person who affected them. And that is the sort of society that we're living in. Now, I'm not saying anything political here, but I know both parties have tried. The witness protection, victim support protection was brought in by one party. They had additional support for witnesses by the other party. Both have worked together, but the justice system is still not giving what it requires, because we do not have the conviction rate, because there seem to be two levels of justice in Jamaica, one for the rich and the other for the poor. If you can afford certain things, you might get away. And of course, the longer you stay, the better their chances are of getting away. We have seen where politicians have been involved in crimes and so forth, and you're wondering what's happening to the case, or there might be a driver who did something wrong, but because he has connections and money, he gets away. No, tell me, that's not a justice system. So if people cannot get their justice, what will they do? They'll take it in their own hands. So if we look at the justice system, we have done a lot, and I know there are some things, but what we're realizing is that most of the cases sometimes that get resolved in Jamaica are by mediation. It means that we are not doing the things that is necessary to improve our justice system, and that has to do with the confidence people have in our justice system. People must have confidence. I cannot tell you something and I hear it down the line. And this brings me to the point. One time I was supporting someone, and my boss also was working. He was director for both. He was victim support program and witness protection. And he asked me to do something, help him out with something, and I did. And he said to me, do you know, by the time we moved the witness, someone already knew. And by the way, it was a tight-knitted stuff. I don't know how the person knew. He said he had to move the witness again because in that was the aspect that only police had that information. Yes. And that is what I'm talking about. We must have confidence in our police force. If we do not, then the society will not have confidence in, of course, the police. Which brings me to another point. The point that we saw a young man holding his hand up in the air, exited the house, and all of a sudden we heard he was dead. My issue is, give some explanation other than what you said, because there are so many violations there. If you take someone out of the house, you should be clearing the house to ensure that there's no threat rather than taking the person inside the house. You know, because of course you could not have done what you've done outside the house because others would have seen you. Moving along, so I want to say as we move along, we have to think about our justice system. We have to think about how we are going to create a sort of culture where people value their communities and understand if I'm reporting a crime, it's to safeguard my life as well as others and to improve my community. But that has to be done from a systematic level, where justice is not just for some, but for all. We have to change the culture and, of course, the narrative from informer must, whatever it is. I'm not going to say it because of YouTube. We have to change it to positive. And I do like the police ads that come on Facebook because they put a little humor, but at the same time, they, of course, send a message out. So what I'm saying is we must move away from the informer for dead syndrome to a point where we say, you know what? I'll be an informer because you know what? I want my Jamaica to be better. Because at the bottom line, if we can move away from the informer syndrome, then we have a better society. A society that someone knows that if they commit a crime, they'll be punished. A society that someone knows that if they hurt Harry or someone near to Harry, they're going to be incarcerated because you're going to be witnesses who will stand up strong and say, listen, I'm being a witness to make Jamaica a better place for me and for everyone to come after. That is it. So when we're thinking about the informer for dead syndrome, let's move away from that because all of us need to come to build a better Jamaica, not to be fearful. And for those policemen running away from those body cams, it's not if, but when, because we are all under surveillance. If you want to know more, watch my videos on AI because that's powerful. And of course, those databases that we have will analyze even your behavior. So with great power, as a policeman or a citizen comes great responsibility. That's all for now. Thanks for joining me. And please remember to like and subscribe.
Jamaica, it's time for broke this silence. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. See I'm blind, hear and deaf. People live in fear, them can't find rest. Police and the dance put trust to the test. To protect the innocent when system are stress. Inna the garrison rules get set. Informal label bring fire and threat. Homes burn down, family fret. Truth under siege but we can't forget. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. Courtroom numbers show the strain, 37.62, yet crime remain. Trials collapse, justice in pain. Fear shut the mouth like shackles and chain. 2.85 in the contested fight. Hardly any guilty when witness take flight. Play a deal strong but that can't be right. Truth need protection, make darkness get light. Lift up your voice, make the truth come clear. Protection for the people, safety for the square. Culture feel when the leaders care. Informophobia can't rule here, yeah. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. Witness need shelter, family too, not just relocation, but a life fi renew. Education, work, opportunity true. Build back the trust where corruption undo. Community police where the people respect. Transparency and justice where the nation expect. Cultural leaders lift the mindset correct. Songs of survival turn to songs of protect. Informer fi dead, no silence fi end. Justice can rise when the people pretend. Voice must be strong, truth must defend. Together we build it, no silence again. Informer fi dead. If silence rule the courtroom, crime win the street. But if vice get protection, justice complete. Informer no fi dead, informer fi live. Fi tell the truth, Jamaica need.